I am talking about the Enneagram, which is a powerful tool for self-discovery and helps us look within and bring order to the usual internal chaos we experience in our daily lives where stress, anxiety, and other related issues affect over 90% of the population. We'll reflect on how to organize our thoughts with wisdom and rationality instead of living mindlessly. It's about understanding ourselves, why we are the way we are, so we can accept ourselves and ultimately achieve balance and peace in our lives. The symbol outlines 9 personality types, 9 mental models or psychological frameworks. In short, the Enneagram will help us become more aware. It provides us with strategic knowledge to manage our emotions and relationships with others in a conscious and reflective way. It serves as a mirror of the soul, reflecting our personality patterns. It's a self-discovery tool that facilitates a process of exploration and introspection into our depths and inner selves. It's a tool backed by numerous scientific studies and is widely used in various fields, including medicine and psychology. It has also gained popularity in business environments, coaching, and even in film. We can describe the Enneagram as a mirror of the soul, where you can see your personality reflected. It challenges you to engage in a process of humility, courage, and acceptance. When you recognize what's within you and discover your Enneagram type, it triggers a transformative click. It will help you understand how you are, why things happen to you, and why you keep stumbling over the same obstacles. It's like a deep X-ray or diagnosis of your personality. The first step is to identify your dominant Enneagram type, which determines your personality. This awareness will help you recognize those aspects of yourself that often go unnoticed. Even when they're evident, we typically have blind spots that prevent us from seeing important parts of ourselves, leading us to act in egocentric and reactive ways. Suddenly, when we hear about our Enneagram type, we'll feel something inside, a click, a deep conviction, a confirmation, a validation. We could explain that each Enneagram type is like a pair of polarized glasses through which that personality pattern subjectively views and filters reality. Now, since the map is not the territory, each type will perceive the world subjectively, following a specific thought pattern. For example, Type 6 sees the world as an unsafe and threatening place, Type 1 sees it as imperfect and flawed. Type 7 perceives the world as full of possibilities and enjoyment, while Type 8 sees it as a place where they need to protect themselves and exert control to avoid vulnerability, and so on. The Enneagram describes 9 cognitive emotional patterns, or 9 lenses through which we subjectively perceive reality. These are 9 distinct ways of filtering and interpreting the world, shaped from childhood, that influence how we see and interact with our surroundings. It functions like a map of your personal territory, a guide that helps you get to know yourself and better understand others. It's very deep, with so much to learn, it's truly fascinating. It offers enormous insight, not only for understanding yourself and improving your skills, but also for understanding others and enhancing your relationships. Well, people see reality through different types of lenses, the lenses of a 1, a 2, a 3, and so on. These models in no way determine a person's level of intelligence, goodness, or badness. It's not about labeling people either. The enneatypes are cognitive emotional patterns, 9 cognitive emotional strategies aimed at addressing 9 types of needs. It's not about measuring or labeling people. In this way, a person's core desire or need will determine their predominant enneatype. Someone who needs to feel good, just, and correct is typically a 1. Someone who, from childhood, needs to feel loved, connected, and bonded is usually a 2. Those who need to feel calm, content, and, in their own world, the typical Hakuna Matata type, are often 9s. Those who need to feel happy, satisfied, and joyful, in other words, just good, are usually 7s. Feeling safe and protected is key for 6s. The need to feel unique, special, and different is characteristic of 4s. The need for freedom and autonomy defines 5s. Feeling recognized, successful, and valued is typical of 3s, while 8s need to feel strong, capable, and powerful. These are emotional tendencies that arise from childhood, 9 primary needs or desires. Of course, this is a hypersimplification of a very complex tool. But it's a functional and sufficient simplification, used in various fields to help us manage our emotional self-leadership. We're dealing with desires, needs, and wishes. When a person's basic need isn't met, they won't feel well. It's their primary emotional need, and everything else follows from there. If someone doesn't fulfill their essential need, they'll feel depressed, unsettled, or out of balance. Therefore, it's crucial to identify our own core emotional need and desire, as well as understand the needs of those around us. Of course, we're working with very cognitive concepts, as what it means for someone to feel happy, safe, or loved can be very different from what it means for another person. The way each individual translates these desires and needs will vary greatly. A person's sense of balance will depend on how satisfied they feel with their basic need across various areas of their life: professional, personal, relationships, and so on. So, when an 8 doesn't feel capable of something, they may feel weak, depressed, or useless because their basic need is to feel capable. 8s need to feel capable in their work, sports, overcoming an illness, having a family, or in a relationship, among other areas. Each enneatype adopts a cognitive emotional behavioral strategy to meet their primary needs. Their behavior will be directed toward feeling what their basic desire compels them to feel. For instance, to feel good, responsible, or just, a 1 will try to do things right, be correct, and tell others how to do things instead of waiting for them to tell him. The strategy of a 2, on the other hand, to feel loved and desired, will be to seek connection, intimacy, and create bonds. The problem arises when a person uses a strategy in a maladaptive way. For example, a typical 6, who is obsessed with security, may feel the obsessive need for certainty that their partner loves them. This leads to doubts, and then to the doubt of the doubt, often causing them to get caught in loops. Similarly, a 4, in their desire to differentiate themselves and be unique, might go too far and become very eccentric. To achieve security and a sense of being on the right path, 5s generally keep a bit of emotional distance and sometimes even physical distance. They need their space, and with this emotional detachment, they gain time to think, to focus on themselves, and to enhance their knowledge and learn new things. They aim to avoid being overwhelmed by others and to maintain their own direction, to be free. By keeping a bit of distance, 5s have the time they need to view things objectively, to stay in their minds, and to feel that they have their own time. The key will be to adopt balanced, adaptive strategies to achieve the satisfaction of our vital needs. The 3 will strive for excellence to gain recognition and admiration by achieving goals and objectives. The 4 will strive to differentiate themselves in order to be seen as unique and special. They seek to be valued for their intrinsic worth. Their partner should see them as the one and only, the coolest, the most special, something they've never encountered before. That's what a 4 wants to hear. They don't want to be the best, they want to be told, "There's no one like you." Madonna is a genuine example of an enneatype 4. The 5 seeks autonomy, freedom, and space. They are the researchers and thinkers. They cannot stand feeling invaded. They maintain physical, psychological, and even emotional distance. They don't have to be cold, but they do need their space. The strategy of the 7 will be to seek out sources of stimulation to feel happy. Whatever it takes to uplift their spirits, they flee from boredom and focus on anything that will pull them away from it. To feel strong and capable, the 8 will develop power, strength, and vigor. They want to feel their energy and force. The 9, in order to be calm and comfortable, will often impose their peace, wanting things to be done according to their routines, habits, and ways. So, in people's daily behavior, we can observe both their needs and the strategies they use to fulfill them. In another video, we will discuss the keys to understanding others, which is essential for the healthy functioning of society. Very briefly, let's see the traditional holistic and interconnected understanding of reality that comes from various philosophical and spiritual traditions. It reminds us that we are part of a whole, much like drops in an ocean, and that positively relating to others using win-win ethical patterns benefits us as an inseparable part of the whole. Benefiting others is benefiting ourselves. We feel good when we help someone or act with love. Conversely, our internal compass makes us feel bad when we harm someone in any way, as we are simply polluting our own ocean. Think about how good we feel after helping an elderly person cross the street or when we do volunteer work. Returning to the Enneagram, this is a hypersimplification of a very complex tool. However, Enneagram researchers have managed to synthesize it, making it accessible to a broader audience in a way that is very functional in many areas. We are making a hyper-abstraction to help us understand something as complicated as the knowledge of people. Alright, first we'll focus on discovering what your basic needs and desires are, along with the corresponding cognitive strategy. When an individual is unable to meet their essential needs in an adaptive, positive, and balanced way, they won't feel stable or happy. Only by achieving this can they begin to enjoy or progress in other areas of their life. The search for how one wants to feel is extremely important. Understanding people means understanding what is important to them, what they seek, what they desire, how they want to feel. If we grasp this, we gain a much better understanding of humanity and what it takes to become more tolerant of one another, fostering understanding and acceptance. In short, we will become wiser, more understanding, and more tolerant. We will know how to relate better. We will achieve more. We will understand what we are essentially seeking in life and what we long for. This is fundamental for our self-leadership and personal development. It's quite curious how each of us also projects what we have. 8s make others feel powerful and give them strength. 9s provide tranquility. 1s help people be more objective and accurate. 2s help others feel good. 3s give us an image of success that inspires us. 4s remind us that we need to stand out from the crowd and not be sheep. We must be true to ourselves and honor our essence, our being. 5s teach us to maintain a certain prudent space in relationships and to keep that positive space that allows us to grow intellectually and personally. 7s, in their constant pursuit of stimulation and positivity, inspire us to live a joyful and fulfilling life. Well, as we mentioned, each model or pattern describes a personality that has its bright side and its dark side. What we have been defining as the ego and the self in other videos. The level of consciousness of the person will be decisive. They will be more or less trapped in the mental construct of the ego. The ego, as we have been explaining in several videos, is that mental construct, that psychological program resulting from an inheritance of a collective unconscious, through which we act unreflectively. Generation after generation, these subconscious patterns are passed down, leading to the same cycles. Like software, we run an inherited program in autopilot mode. When the premises or parameters that reside in the subconscious, which guide our actions, are incorrect, crisis and collapse follow. Stress. Anxiety. This all stems from living in an unnatural way, without being present, trapped in a hyper-demanding meritocratic society. Once again, it's about questioning the so-called collective unconscious. It's the journey of challenging all the beliefs we have been conditioned and programmed with by society, generation after generation, throughout our lives. It's about shedding those beliefs that distance us from our being and the essence of our own truth, our true self, our luminous part, the being. It's about reprogramming ourselves wisely and reflectively, thoughtfully furnishing our minds. It's essential to cultivate a rational and healthy inner dialogue, which is the key to emotional strength. In short, the Enneagram will help us become more aware. It will provide us with strategic knowledge to manage our emotions and relationships with others in a conscious and reflective manner. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it helpful. If you liked it, please give it a like. Stay tuned for updates and additional content related to the Enneagram in the description. See you in the next video.